Something that not enough people, in my opinion, are talking about is what is going to happen to the cryptocurrency market after the election. We've all seen what has happened. We've seen this country turned upside down. Whatever side you're on, the left or the right or the middle, the bottom or the top, wherever you are, it really doesn't matter when it comes to cryptocurrency. We've seen the stock market go absolute bananas. Look what the stock market has done since Donald Trump has come into office. Back in 2016, in November, here is the election right here. We saw the stock market, which was doing very well under President Obama, mind you. Then candidate Donald Trump said that the stock market was in a huge bubble at that point.
Our country is suffering because people like Secretary Clinton have made such bad decisions in terms of our jobs and in terms of what's going on. Now, look, we have the worst revival of an economy since the Great Depression. And believe me, we're in a bubble right now. And the only thing that looks good is the stock market. But if you raise interest rates even a little bit, that's going to come crashing down. We are in a big, fat, ugly bubble.
And the Dow was not even at 20,000 yet. So that's pretty interesting. But when he actually was elected president of the United States, the stock market went crazy, hysteria ever since. Let's check out and look at the gains that were made since that particular time, back in November of 2016. And let's just look at the height. The height of the market so far was at a level that few predicted that it would reach. So let's say right around here, that is over 65%. 65% gains. Are you kidding me? Who would have predicted that? Well, we don't need to go into all of the ins and outs on why that actually happened or why that's been possible. But what we need to do is we need to look at the future, which not a lot of people are talking about. What's going to happen to the stock market? And is there any correlation between what's going to happen with the stock market and the cryptocurrency, namely Bitcoin price charts? So let's look a little deeper. We've seen a change of power every 8 years for the last few presidents, going back to the first Bush. We've seen the stock market react each and every time, and especially when there's been a Democratic president elected, there has been a slip in the stock market. There's been the opposite for when there is a Republican elected in office. When Bush was elected in 2000, you saw a rise in the market as well. Now that ended badly soon after. However, you did see a rise. Now, as Trump has been elected, you've seen the market go crazy. For whatever reason, the market has trust in this particular administration, this particular president. And we're not going to go into the politics of that. That's for a different channel, not mine. But what I am concerned with is this. It looks like the tide is moving toward Joe Biden in this particular instance. Now, I bring this up because the debate is today. We'll see what happens in the debate. But as it stands right now, there seems to be, take it with a grain of salt, it seems to be that the polls are indicating that Biden is ahead and will secure a victory come November. If that happens, I believe that we can anticipate a very steep dive in the stock market. I believe it will be very steep. I believe that individuals, investors will be seeing a winter coming, a downtrend, a downturn coming, and they will react accordingly. The economy is already struggling. It's already tinkering along. The stock market seems to be the only thing that is bright and shiny at this particular instance, because some of the big name companies like the Googles, like the Amazons, like the Apples, like the Microsofts are holding up the market. I believe that you will see the market fall very steeply, very quickly under the news that Joe Biden has been elected President of the United States. What do you think will happen to Bitcoin? What do you think will happen to the crypto market in that particular scenario? What we have seen before is that there's not much correlation between Bitcoin and the stock market. Well, actually, that's what we've been told. But if we go back just to March this year, we see that there was a huge drop in March. This was around the time of the coronavirus, the pandemic outbreak. We see the same thing here that we saw back here in March of 2020. So those are correlated, and those dips look pretty similar to one another. That doesn't mean that it's totally correlated, because you see these charts are very, very different. Looking at the Dow Jones Industrial Average and the Bitcoin chart. But we have to make sure that we don't ignore the fact that Bitcoin and the stock market have to have some correlation, because we see some similar things happening on the charts. Now, just because it is not a mirror image, just because it's not a carbon copy of one another, does not mean that things are not correlated. It seems as if the major events hint towards similar movement. It seems as if the minor events hint towards there not being much correlation at all. So when I think about 2020 leading into 2021, if I'm anticipating a Joe Biden presidency and I'm anticipating a very steep drop in the stock market, I should be anticipating a rather steep drop in the cryptocurrency market as well, which I think is something that people are overlooking quite a bit. No one's really talking about this at all. There is an article in Forbes that came out a little while ago, and it talks about there being a slight correlation between the cryptocurrency market, namely Bitcoin, and the stock market. Now, the correlation is not very accurate when it comes to small movements in the stock market, but it is much more accurate when it comes to huge market moves in the stock market, up or down. And this is something to look for. This might be a very good opportunity for some to capitalize on what's happening in our country and in our world. If the U.S. is looking at a steep drop in stock prices, well, we might want to look for a steep drop in the valuation of cryptocurrency assets. It's something to file away and be ready for if we actually do see this play out. Now, obviously, the flip could occur. Trump could win again, and I don't anticipate huge market drops if that was the particular case. But we're always following our convictions, and we're going to continue to dollar cost average regardless of what's going on. But be ready for the unexpected. Let's try to expect that unexpected while everyone else is caught off guard. I hope this helps. Let me know in the comments if it does. I'd love to hear from you. And as always, stay smart, stay in the black.